Welcome to the real Ramblers movie talk for fanatics. The real Ramblers movie talk for fanatics. And now your hosts, Bill and Lee Howard.
Hello!
That one just shot out of a cannon.
Welcome
The greeting cannon.
to the Real Ramblers. Getting punchy. Welcome to the Real Ramblers. I am Bill. This is my brother Lee, right over there.
I'm Lee.
Yay! We are the hosts of the Real Ramblers. Thank you for tuning in.
You say tuning in? That's more of a radio thing.
Tuning.
Thank you for double clicking on your.
See, that sounds stupid.
Thanks for turning on your.
Thanks for listening.
Yep.
To the Real Ramblers.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
So today we're going to talk about an author
This
that
is
has
part
been
1 of 2.
Yeah, this is part 1 of 2.
Yeah.
Talking about a prolific author and his stories that have been adapted into films, and that author would be
Dr. Seuss. No. You see that cat in
Stephen
a hat?
King.
Mike Myers is terrifying looking in there.
Stephen King. So we're gonna try. We're gonna do this chronologically.
Yeah.
Just because it's a little
Heavy
easier
on
to-
the chronic. Am I right? Weed. Which I've never smoked. Anyway.
Real Ramblers is the place to come if you're looking for weed jokes.
Yeah. 2 guys that know nothing about weed.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I call a pot
Okay.
bong.
Gummies. I just say the word gummy. I don't know.
Holy fuck. So Stephen King is
Oh,
we're all
boy.
over the place.
So anyway, Stephen King, obviously, I don't know if he's actually, I don't know if he's the most successful author in all of history, but I actually believe that James Patterson guy
Oh,
has
shit,
sold
really?
more books.
Okay.
But I think that's a bit of a cop-out because I believe James Patterson does
He's a
like a
liar.
lot of outlines and then other
Oh,
people write
wow.
stuff. Like they help him.
Huh.
I could
James
be wrong,
Patterson,
but I'm
I think,
sure.
wrote the outline for the 50 Shades of Grey books,
Did he?
right? No, I'm fuck,
What are
no.
you talking about? I'm
I'm
like, what?
bullshitting.
No, he
Those
does
are
like
barely
he
novels.
does like thrillers.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think he writes them completely solely on his own.
Oh,
So,
wow,
so
okay.
to me,
Crazy,
that don't
great.
count.
No.
But
You
yeah,
shit,
Stephen
James
King. And
Patterson.
Stephen King has a very unique and recognizable style. I love his books. So it all started back in 74 was his first book, which is weird to think that he wrote his first novel and you weren't even born yet.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that was Carrie. And I believe the story was that he was a struggling author. He had written things for like magazines and such.
Right.
And then he was writing Carrie and got frustrated and threw it in the garbage.
Huh.
And his wife took it out of the garbage and read it and said, "You've got to finish this."
Oh, wow.
And like forced him to finish it. And then he did, and it was an instant bestseller.
Amazing.
And the odd thing is, I might be wrong on the statistic, but I'm pretty sure every single thing he's ever written has been a #1 bestseller.
Shit, that's crazy.
Which is nuts.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Even if like people were like, that book wasn't my favorite, it's still just his name.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Everybody bought it. So
Right.
yeah, crazy. And I love that despite all that, you've never heard a story about like, well, Stephen King's an asshole.
No, I always hear he's
Never.
like really nice, even like, he has his place in Maine, right?
Yeah.
And he hangs out at like a coffee shop all the time. And like
Yeah.
people sometimes will just go in there and be like, oh, hi. And he's just like nice to them and
Yeah.
stuff, It's
My friend Christopher Hurd, film critic, author, I guess now. He doesn't-
name drop.
Yeah.
Bam,
Who we
bam,
hope to
bam.
have on the podcast soon.
Yes, cool.
He actually, lucky bastard, spent an afternoon at King's house
Whoa.
conversing with him, and his stories, he's posted them on his page on Facebook.
Was he invited or you just break in?
No, he was invited.
Okay.
And the stories are great.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
why I
amazing.
can't wait to get Chris on here because
Yeah, I'd love to hear
dude
stuff like
has
that.
talked like the history that Chris has with film and the people he's talked to.
That's awesome.
He's got some amazing stories. So we'll ask him about the Stephen King when he comes on here. But anyway, so the book was in 74. The first movie ever made on a King property was Carrie. And that was 2
The
years
year
later,
I was born.
1976.
They did it for me.
And That movie was directed by Brian De Palma, who is one of my all-time favorite directors. And holy shit, that movie.
I watched it. So
for
it's
me,
also,
film perfection. Like, there is not a frame of Carrie I don't like.
there's one frame I don't like.
What frame?
It's not even just a frame. It's just such a weird choice that when like William Katt and his buddies are like doing this, getting their suits, and it's like a scene that's like in fast forward.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Why is that a choice?
That is weird.
It just
that
felt
could have
so
been that
weird.
could have been a sign of the times. That could have been a 70s
maybe that's
thing.
true, right? It's people
But
in the
things
70s
I
love
love,
fast forward.
De Palma's famous for his split screens.
Right,
and
right.
I love all the split screen stuff, especially in
at the end?
the prom.
Yeah, that shit's great.
Oh
That,
my
like,
God.
yeah.
Sissy Spacek's performance. Oh my God.
Incredible.
Like, holy
Yeah, everybody's
shit.
so good in it. I forgot that Travolta was in it. Even.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That sounds exactly like John Travolta.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, I'm going to drop some blood over here.
Yeah, Amy Irving. Who's the Nancy Allen, who is the most unlikable bitch in this, like on purpose. She does it perfectly.
Oh yeah, she's a horrible,
but what a horrible fucking person.
Yeah. Really weird too. I remember there was like that weird scene with her and Travolta in the car where she's like, come over here, like give me a smooch. And he does, and she's like, fuck you doing? And like smacks him.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, get back over here. Smacks him again. He's like, what's going on over here?
Yeah, she's psychotic in it. She is totally. And when she's about to like dump the pig blood, it's like she's almost like having like
she's like getting off on it. Like she's like, she's
like
real
psychotic.
Yeah.
But anyway, that movie is
going.
brilliant. And that the prom scene is one of the most perfectly edited things.
It's so good, yeah.
And the fact that like everybody gets their, I'm going to jump ahead. The remake. There's been a few remakes. There was a TV remake.
I tried to watch a little bit of that one the other day because
the one with
Angela. What's her name?
Oh, Angela Bettis. That's the TV one.
Yeah, it felt too TV-ish that I was like, I can't watch this.
No, I love Angela Bettis.
She's fantastic, but it felt like a Canadian TV version.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the remake with Chloe Moretz.
Right, yeah.
Which I thought was super strong. I really liked it. Yeah. And I liked that it went into a lot of the areas like more about her telekinesis.
Yeah.
But I just recently read that there's like this whole online petition that, is it Kimberly Pierce who directed that?
Maybe. Yeah.
Apparently, there was all this shit filmed because in the novel, after the prom, she walks through the town and destroys the entire town.
There's a little bit of that, kind of.
Little
yeah, but not very much.
But apparently, they filmed her.
Wow, I would have liked to see that.
And the funny thing is, if you go on YouTube and you look up Carrie teaser, in the teaser, it starts with an aerial view of the prom, and then the camera goes down the road and goes through the town and shows everything on fire.
Oh, that's neat.
It's really cool. But apparently there's been a petition for years now to get them to release Kimberly Pierce's director's cut.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Which apparently has way more in it and is way better.
It's good cast, too. Julianne Moore was really a great choice for the mom, but it's hard to beat the original. Like, I don't remember who played.
So it was, me and my name brain. She recently passed. Piper Laurie.
Oh, okay.
She
terrifying
was
in that movie.
Terrifying.
Yeah. I just always remember as we were kids, the only thing that I remembered about that movie, because maybe I watched it as a kid but don't remember, is that there are certain things that...
It was on TV a lot.
Yeah. Obviously, like prom stuff, I kind of remember as a kid, but more like funny things between us as brothers. I remember like, because you always used to imitate it, like when Carrie's walking home and there's the kid on the bike.
Yeah.
And it's like, creepy Carrie. And then she uses her power and falls over. And then also I remember us getting scared at the mom. There was like a shot where like the door closes or something, maybe, and the mom is behind there.
No, I have a whole story about that. When she comes home after the prom, she comes in and she says, Mama, and she can't find her mom. And she goes up the stairs to go take a shower and get all the blood off her.
Right.
And there was a point, this wasn't when we were kids, this was when I was an adult.
Okay.
She walks down the hallway on the second floor towards her bedroom, and the mom is behind a door.
Right.
And I had watched this movie 25 times and never noticed the mom behind the door.
Crazy, okay.
And then I'm sitting in my living room one night, this was probably in my 20s or something.
Right.
And I'm watching it for the 27th time. And I catch a glimpse of the mom behind the door that I've never noticed before, and I jumped off the couch.
Oh, crazy!
Because I'm
it's crazy, like to notice something that you've never seen before.
It was scared me that something was there that I'd never seen before. But she's terrifying in that.
Yeah, it's a great one. It's such a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next thing adapted was in 1979, the miniseries for Salem's Lot.
Oh, that's next. Oh, weird. Okay, where's Salem's Lot? I literally printed out, maybe because this is movies. This is movies, that's why.
So it didn't include.
Okay.
When I started making my list, it wasn't there, and I was like, shit, I got to find a list that includes TV.
Okay, I printed out, obviously you guys can't see, you're listening. I printed out a list, and it was just movies. So there's like 50 adaptations.
Right. I know.
But yeah, so you're continue. Yeah.
Anyway, Salem's Lot we've discussed in our vampire episode.
Yep.
Love it. It's perfection. It's scary.
Yeah.
David Soul, who just passed, rest in peace, was fantastic. All the
bam, bam, bam.
Joanne's gonna love that you did that.
She likes the bam.
She loves when you do that.
Nice.
I hate it, but
I'll do more.
But yeah, Salem's Lot was brilliant, and to think that it was a TV miniseries because it's effective and it's scary.
Yeah.
So
how many nights did that run? Was it was two? Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
It was yeah. So I think it was 2 hours a night with commercials.
Oh, that's okay.
So it translates to about a 3-hour movie.
Right.
But yeah, brilliant. We've talked about it before, so we don't have to go in depth. But great vampire movie, most iconic vampire of all time with Barlow. Yeah, then the third adaptation of King.
I'm not going to do the whole song.
I was like, holy, this is going to be like 9 minutes.
I'm going to do this whole score.
Was Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Yeah.
I would really like to do a whole episode on Kubrick, even though he doesn't have a lot of movies.
There's a lot that I need to either refresh or I'm certain there's some that I just have not seen.
Yeah. Of course, Stephen King notoriously didn't. And he said that he doesn't not like it because it's a bad movie. He just doesn't like that it was a faithful adaptation of the novel.
Right.
I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah. If you take that, like I've not read the novel.
There's stuff in the book that works cool when it's your imagination.
Yep.
But Mick Garris, who I love, did a TV version of The Shining.
I want to see that just to see it.
I didn't think was... it didn't do anything for me. Right. A lot of people love it because it's way more faithful.
I saw a clip from it.
I'm sorry to Mick if you're listening.
Yeah, who doesn't love Mick Garris? Mick. The only thing I saw like a little clip or whatever from it, and it's like the kid that plays Danny Torrance in it. I was like, oh, it's that kid? I don't want to see it because that was like a kid who was in a million things back then.
Oh, really?
Who I just, as a kid actor, it's like
some of them. It's not that kid from Dream Child, is it?
No. That kid's funny too. No, it's just you see him show up in a bunch of stuff, and it's like I don't like.
And
that
Steven Weber was Torrance, and he did a good job.
But it's a TV movie, also there's limitations, budgets. All
but anyway, Kubrick's The Shining is a fucking masterpiece.
It's
every frame is a masterpiece. Every performance in it is a masterpiece. I still have trouble to this day watching that movie and being like, "That's a set."
It's
how
crazy. I don't understand. Yeah,
the main room that he types in, I'm like,
they made that for a movie. That's crazy to me.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
and I love the little crazy shit in the movie that Kubrick threw in, like that nothing lines up. Like there's a thing when he goes into the dude's office when he first gets the job and has the interview, there's a window to the outside. But if you look at where people are walking, there's no way that office could be on an outside wall.
Yeah.
So there's really cool shit like that where it's like things don't line up with the hotel.
Yeah.
But everything in The Shining.
It still makes me it gives me a weird, uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah, same.
You know, it's just, it's one of the first movies I remember seeing that made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like it just gets under your skin.
The music's a big part of it.
Oof, yeah.
Which I believe is it's like a reworking of a classical piece. A lot of the theme in it. But anyway, the music's brilliant. I remember the first time when Danny's throwing the darts and the girls show up for the first time. And I was just like,
oh yeah.
I felt like I wanted to throw up.
Everything, it's so fucking off-putting.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's so good in it. I feel bad because it's like I've heard just like Shelley Duvall was treated just like terribly on the movie, which fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But she was incredible. Incredible in it. Like
so good. And Danny Lloyd was
it's
amazing.
Everything. So there's all these like
when there's that shot of Danny Lloyd in bed and he's having The Shining.
Oh my God.
And he's going, and his face is shaking and he's drooling.
Yeah.
He looks terrified. And apparently they didn't show him anything scary on set.
Really?
So that was all just acting.
Wow. Good for you, kid.
But yeah, Kubrick was supposedly very comforting of him.
Oh, that's nice.
On set. And because, he reserved all his hatred for Sheldon.
Yeah, unfortunately,
But I mean, I've heard that about anybody who's worked with Kubrick, that he's really hard to work with.
Yeah,
Dude
like
does
Friedkin,
like 200
right? Friedkin is like a maniac.
Yeah.
But there's just so much about The Shining that it's terrifying.
And I watch shit like the blood coming out of the elevator. If somebody did that today, it would be done with miniatures.
Oh yeah, sure.
They really did that full size, and it's like, wow,
that's crazy to me.
What?
Yeah.
And little things like Kubrick's angle when Jack's hacking at the door with the axe. And he follows the axe. Oh, brilliant. So good.
Yep.
The Wednesday day with Jack where he's just staring at the camera.
Oh, yeah.
And you can hear Wendy and the kid playing outside.
Huh. Yeah. He's staring out the window.
A lot of filmmakers today wouldn't do a scene that's just a dude standing there doing nothing.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Everything about it. Scatman Crothers is awesome.
So good. Yeah. It just sucks that his whole journey was like.
I know he spent all that time getting up there.
Did he die in the book like that too? Or did he live?
I don't know. I'd have to revisit it. It's been a long time.
Can you break the book out and start reading it right now?
Okay, 1 second. Let me get the pages here.
The Shining by Stephen King.
Read by Carrot Top.
Carrot Top. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? But I thought I had something else. Obviously, there's things as a kid. I know I saw it as a kid that like the dog costume thing. What is that? What even is that?
The what?
The thing in the dog costume, blowing the waiter guy or whoever it was. Like, and what even is that?
The guy who played the bartender.
Terrifying.
So good.
There's fan theories out there because there's just so many that really.
There's that whole documentary called Room 237.
Which I've heard is like really debunked and like a lot of it.
Oh, it's nuts.
It is nuts. I saw it. I saw it a long time ago.
The reason for that documentary was to show that this is what people's theories are, but they're not necessarily.
Absolutely.
They don't necessarily make any sense.
It's cool to kind of like dig into stuff and see. And there's theories about like Jack and the level of abuse he did to Danny and stuff, which is really fucking disturbing.
Yeah.
Really disturbing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, it's crazy. It's crazy to have a movie like this that people can dissect for years.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
The Shining. It's anybody that you're like, what top 3 horror movies ever? Almost anybody's going to say Shining.
Yeah. Yeah. It's brilliant. I can watch it 1 billion times.
Yeah.
Never get tired of it. Fast forward a couple of years, Creepshow, which isn't based on anything. It's an original thing.
Yeah. But I think he had one story, right? I kind of forget what stories are in one and two.
The whole thing is co-created and produced. It's him and Romero.
Right. Okay.
So it was co-created with him. I think he wrote all the stories, but he was only in one.
Right. I always remember that one the most.
The Jordi Verrell one. With the
Moss Man
shit.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure King wrote them all.
Okay.
I think he wrote the whole movie.
It's been a while since I obviously have seen both of them. I loved them as a kid. I kind of forget them now.
So there's a couple of things in here that aren't adaptations. They're just things he did
that
were original works, and that's one of them. And Creepshow is still the gold standard for horror anthology.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's like the Shudder series for Creepshow. It's like, it's just a horror. I don't even know why they call it Creepshow.
Yeah.
Because they don't, even Creepshow 2 didn't replicate the magic of that comic book feel, that EC Comics feel of the original Creepshow. And I think that's because it was George Romero. I think he just knew what he was doing.
So in the I can't remember if it was 1 or 2, but the one with like the Father's Day,
first one,
and there's like kind of the zombie looking guy. Yeah. The guy playing that zombie guy was Martin from Martin.
Oh, because he works in all George Romero films.
When I read that, I was like, oh shit,
John
that's
Amplas,
crazy.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, they're fun. They're like fun kind of horror 80s.
Yeah, they're
staples.
Brilliant. The Crate's my favorite.
Oh, the Crate's great.
The next year, John Carpenter hops on board and does Christine.
Yes, which I just rewatched.
Yeah? Did you like it?
Oh, great.
Upon reviewing?
Yep. Yep.
It holds up really, really well. And I love that, I don't know his name, the lead actor.
Yeah. Marvin. I made that up because he's kind of nerdy.
Dude overplays it like crazy, but somehow weirdly it works.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it because he is over the top.
Yeah.
But it really works. And the effects are crazy.
Really neat.
Crazy good with the car.
I wanted to like read a bit about it because in the movie, because it's like there's differences from the book and the movie.
Yeah.
Because the movie seems to say that the car was evil from like the get-go because one of the guys in the factory as they're showing it built, like it kills him. He dies in it. But Stephen King was more like, no, it wasn't evil from day one. It was, the guy, I can't remember the
first guy who owned it or whatever.
Yeah. And it was more him and his influence.
Well, that's the same debate over The Shining, right?
Right. Oh, Overlook versus.
Yeah. Because in the movie, it was like the hotel was evil.
Right.
And in the book, it was, I'm confusing it. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, so it was but the movie was much more just the car is evil from the get go,
which I love.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. Yeah, the effects were crazy, like when it would like fix itself and stuff. It was just a fun, neat movie, and it's like when Christine is and like
it's pretty brutal.
It is, yeah. When it's driving down the street on fire.
Oh yeah,
at them, it's just like. It's a real character. This car, like it's a believable character. I should say.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I was happy with it because I hadn't watched that for a long time, so it was fun. I've rewatched a couple King movies to bone up for this.
You know what's funny is looking at the filmography of Stephen King stuff. I was kind of amazed at the first streak of adaptations because it's like Carrie, Salem's Lot, Shining, Creepshow, Christine, Cujo, Dead Zone.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit.
Banger.
Yeah, it's like there was no losing from the 70s to the early 80s.
Right.
It's like everyone nailed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I just said, the next one was Cujo.
It's been a while since I watched like a recap video. I didn't have time to rewatch that whole movie. So I kind of watched a recap on what happens and stuff. And I know I saw it as a kid. And I remember it being just like, I feel like I didn't know what claustrophobia was as a kid, but like this movie really made you feel.
This movie's 100% claustrophobia. Yeah. And Dee Wallace even says to this day, it's her favorite performance she's ever given.
Incredible.
Yeah. Amazing. And they said it was hard. It was a really hard movie.
Sure. Oh my God, it would have to be.
Trapped in a car for however many filming days, and they're banging this giant St. Bernard bloody puppet into your windows.
Oh my God, yeah.
All day long. But it doesn't let up. That whole movie is so tense.
And it sucks because it's like there's technically not like a bad guy in it because you just feel bad for the dog. He just has rabies, like poor dog.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's a no-win situation for anybody.
It's maybe up to that point, well, maybe except for Carrie, the most King. Yeah. Like it really felt like that small town.
Yeah. I love that.
Isolated incident Stephen King thing. Yeah. Really well done.
Yeah.
And the effects for the dog, considering 83, like amazing.
Right.
The same year. Yeah, I'm just realizing that's crazy.
Same year as
Christine, Cujo, and Dead Zone were all 83.
Oh shit, I didn't realize Christina's. Yeah, that's crazy. Insane. Wow, what a good year.
Wow. So yeah, the Dead Zone.
Just rewatched it.
David Cronenberg brought into the mix.
Yeah.
Led by Chris Walken in maybe one of my favorite performances of him ever.
So good.
And for him, very underplayed. Yeah. And even though there's very Christopher Walken scenes in it.
The ice! It's breaking!
But the funny thing is, when you see him do that in a lot of other movies, it's like, Christopher Walken. When you see him do it in this one, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, there's real weight to the story.
Oh, man,
and he plays it, even though he's doing it Christopher Walken-y, he's doing it with this emotional weight to it that he's like tortured by it.
Yeah. That scene,
it's sad.
It's a small scene, but it really stood out to me when like the media is kind of like, hey, how'd you say that girl? Like, predict the next election and stuff. He's like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then the reporter
that sounded a little like your Travolta.
it was Travolta, right?
Okay,
Christopher Travolta. The reporter guy's like, here, try it on me and stuff. And like, who's going to win the election? And he's like, you don't want to know who's going to win the election. You want to know why your sister killed herself.
Yeah.
And stuff. The guy's like, let me go. And it was such like a real like, oh shit.
That was a powerful scene.
It really was. Like that one, for whatever reason, really stood out to me that it's like, okay, this guy's not fucking around. And like, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah. And then Martin Sheen's a despicable piece of shit.
Yeah. Funny that he's in another King movie later. He's terrible in it. It's such
and I didn't predict the earlier story about the killer. Nicholas Campbell.
Yeah.
Who's a great Canadian actor. And his whole scene is like creepy.
Very.
Like when they close in on him and then the way he does himself in.
Yeah, it's like, guy.
Fucking.
There's a better way to do
just
this.
give up. Go to prison.
Yeah.
Like,
or it's like if you're gonna like, oh shit, they're gonna that's it, right? The scissors?
Yeah. With the scissors.
Yeah, it's like there's better ways if you're gonna.
But there's so many he put in so many great scenes. I think what makes Dead Zone so powerful is there's so many scenes of nothing going on. Like him tutoring the kid.
Yeah.
And then where that ends up and the stuff with the ice and everything.
Yeah.
Is like so powerful.
It's great. Yeah.
The nurse scene with the burning, the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
just feel bad for him. He's a real tragic character.
He's very sad, and you can tell that he's literally like he's feeling it every time he predicts these things, and it's torture to him.
Yeah, it feels like death.
Yeah,
I feel like I remembered that before I watched it how it ended, but I couldn't quite remember. And it's
the end.
I mean, it's 83, so I mean, but if maybe I won't spoil it in case anyone that is listening is like, I haven't seen it, maybe I'll check it out.
And I think the last scene that's at the rally, I'm pretty sure that's filmed at the City Hall in Orono.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No way. When he's in the balcony and everything.
Yeah. It was great. It was better than, it was probably one of my favorite Stephen King movies.
It absolutely is up there for me.
Yeah, it's so good.
I love it. 84, we get into pure 80s goodness with The Children of the Corn. Now, do you rewatch this?
I just rewatched this too, yeah. I think I like the concept. It was still fun.
I think I'm never going to say it's a great film, but I love it.
I think I like the concept of it more than the movie.
Yeah. That's why I was psyched for the remake, because I'm like, are they finally going to do Children of the Corn like dead serious? And then the remake sucked.
Yeah. I forgot I was going to queue up that audio clip that I posted online where I'm like, that kid 100% sounds like Eric Cartman. Yes! No! Okay! You're fired! Save me! Seriously, guys. It's like, I don't know what the dialogue is, but it's that. He sounds like Cartman.
I loved that kid, and I love the kid who played Malachi.
He was like 25.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
and the kid who played Malachi was like, scary.
I was like, guys, stop saying Outlander, Outlander every 3 seconds. Like, someone punch. I do like when who was the main lead? 30-something.
Peter Horton and Linda Hamilton.
Of course. It's like all the kids are like Outlander, and he just like shoves them because he's like, I am a man and you are 9. Eat shit, kid.
Which is great.
Yeah, it was cool. I like the certain things like, I'm 19 now. I'm going to like sacrifice myself to this demon. And I like that it was like there was some kind of like demon-y presence that whatever.
And the scene at the beginning of them doing in all the adults was pretty
crazy. Yeah. So it was fun. It was like fun 80s.
Yeah, I'll never hold Children of the Corn up as a great movie. No. But it's I have a nostalgia for it. Yeah. I really dig it. Same year, Firestarter.
I just watched that. Why is this not on my list?
Who did Firestarter? Why am I blanking?
Weird.
It was somebody else big that did Firestarter.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, look it up. Yeah, because I was watching and I was like, holy shit, George C. Scott is in this. Yeah. Like, I'm in.
As a Native American, no less.
Yeah, that was a little like, and I didn't realize that at first until like halfway through.
Blackbird, and I'm like, or something was his name?
Something like that. And I was like, oh, wait, is he? Because he has like
Who cares,
long
though?
hair.
He was fucking great.
Yeah, I mean, it was the 80s.
It's the 80s. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. But anyway, that aside, George C. Scott's always an incredible actor. I don't think I maybe even had seen it before. So it was awesome to watch it. And I'm just like, oh, this is like what would have happened if the government caught Carrie.
Yeah.
But younger.
Yeah, totally.
Who was the Keith
David? David Keith.
David Keith. Yeah, Keith David.
Keith David's the other one.
Definitely different. Yeah, Keith David.
I don't know why they had to have opposite names and both work in Hollywood. Like,
I don't know. And they have the same parents, which is crazy. That's a joke. But I didn't even recognize David Keith at first, too. I was like, he kind of looks like, and I'm like, oh shit, that is him.
Yeah.
But just the story wise, it was really fucking cool. And obviously Drew Barrymore was great.
Effects were great for the time.
Yeah, it was neat. It was just a cool, and I didn't really know where the story was going to go. Like the fact that like early into the movie, they kind of caught them.
Yeah.
And it's like, now we're going to do tests on them and all this shit. Yeah. I'm like, hey, Martin Sheen's in it.
Yeah.
It was cool. And
there's another great older movie about, capturing and the government using people with telekinetic powers called, we just watched it, Jay. The Fury, which is also Brian De Palma.
Oh, wow.
Weirdly enough. But it's really good, too.
Oh, that's so bonkers.
Yeah,
okay.
And has Amy Irving from Carrie. Lots of connections there.
You know who else I think was in it? Dylan McDermott. Oh, that's a callback. Old episodes.
It's been a while.
Sorry, I had to throw that. And I will not do that again for the rest of the day.
Okay.
I really liked it, though. I was pleasantly surprised. And it was fun. And it took some kind of turns I didn't expect. And good.
And it had a lot of good emotional stuff about like him protecting his daughter, and
it still holds up. Yeah, because some it's like, Children of the Corn fun doesn't hold up. It's very 80s. Yeah, this still holds up pretty good.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. A year later, 85, Silver Bullet.
Oh man, I love that as a kid. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah,
Gary Busey's in it. Butter sausages. I like butter sausages. Gary Busey. I heard he was like bonkers on set too, because also Gary Busey.
It's kind of in the same league of Children of the Corn for me. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily hold up, but I like it. I love the book, the novella, the graphic novel thing. Okay. I think I gave you a copy. Cycle of the Werewolf.
Cycle of the Werewolf, yeah.
With that awesome art by
I love that
Bernie
Wrightson. Incredible, yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
I remember
Corey
the werewolf
was good in it.
Yeah, totally. I feel like I remember
Although he's playing a kid in a wheelchair and he wasn't a real kid in a wheelchair, so that's not proper.
They should have broke his legs.
Right. They should have.
I feel like I heard, I could be wrong, but just that Busey, like, they're like, here's the lines, and he's just like, I'm just going to say what I want to say. And they're like, fuck, okay, go. We've already hired you.
It was pretty big when it came out.
Was it? I guess so. I mean,
it did really well.
He was nominated.
Yeah, so then 86, Stand By Me, Rob Reiner.
It's a movie that I feel like I forget about, and I don't know why, because when it's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, it's great.
I think it's just, it was one of those, not that I have cable anymore, but it was one of those movies where if the TV was on and Stand By Me at any point was on, beginning, middle, end, I have to sit and finish it.
Rob Reiner, I believe, said that Stephen King, after he showed it to him, said that it was his favorite adaptation of his work.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that it made him cry.
That's awesome.
And apparently it was going to be called something like The Body, because the story's called The Body. Yeah. And apparently on set, was it Kiefer Sutherland was teaching River Phoenix how to play Stand By Me on guitar. And Rob Reiner was like, I haven't heard that song in a while. And it ended up being called that.
It's perfect. And also I saw it at an age where I was like the age of those kids.
Yeah.
So it's like I extra connected with it. It was like the Wonder Years. They were the same age as me. So I extra connected. And they talked like real kids.
Yeah.
They swore. Yeah. They were like rude and stuff like that. So that's
River
what
Phoenix
it was realistic.
And
he was
like a real rebel. And
just great. Everybody was great.
Beautifully written. And Rob Reiner's a dude that does not get credit for being a director. And he is fantastic.
Yep. Totally. Stand By Me is amazing.
Yeah. The same year, Stephen King decided, I'm going to try writing a screenplay by myself. And you know what? I'm going to direct too. And he did Maximum Overdrive.
He co-directed it with cocaine. Legitimately, he said he doesn't remember doing this because he was so coked out of his mind.
Yeah.
And boy, howdy, does it show.
Yeah.
Because this movie,
and yet I find there's a lot of fun in it.
It's ridiculous. It's one of those, honestly, it's so bad that it's good because it's a fun. The only
person I hated was that one person from the car, the wife. She's like this shorter lady.
It's Lisa Simpson, Yardley Smith.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. That's right. I found her extremely annoying in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was her character.
There was so much weird. Everything about that movie is bonkers, off the charts.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. It doesn't make sense.
But how can you not like a vending machine launching pop cans at people to kill them?
It's funny how like just some things, like all the machines, because where, a comet is going to go by the Earth and all the machines are like, the cars and trucks come to life, except for the ones that we don't need in the story. Yardley Smith and her fiance are driving into town. That one's not crazy.
No.
And it's like, you think maybe it's just things that are like electric.
Yeah.
But it's like the army truck with a gun. It's shooting. It's is that electric? Like,
it's not electric.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so funny. The fucking funniest. It's like, I highly recommend watching it because it's so stupid.
Yeah.
The best part, and I'm going to spoil the end just because it's too funny not to.
That's cool.
They, the trucks are trying to kill the people at the gas station. Yeah. The trucks are literally like with Morse code, like pump gas into us. Which is like, because we're about to run out of gas.
There's a TV remake from the 90s too, I think.
Really?
But I never saw it. It's just called Trucks.
Oh, for real? And it's a real, okay.
Yeah.
But the best part is, so it's like whatever happens, like most people die, some people don't. And then there's just like a title card at the end that is just like, essentially, oh, by the way, UFOs showed up. They were responsible for this, and the army shot them out of the sky. And that's the only mention. And it's like, whoa, what?
It's horrible.
Are you? Oh, I was gonna say, are you high? And the answer is yes. Like there's more cocaine in his body than blood, I think.
But there is ridiculousness too. And I mean,
so
Emilio Estevez does what he can with it, and is fun in it.
Yeah, it's worth watching. It's so dumb.
For some reason, it just popped into my head that I have to revisit that movie, Wisdom. I remember loving that.
I was obsessed with Wisdom.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna have to find that.
A twist ending that was like the first time a twist ending made me be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find that.
I'm 11 and I'm mad. All right.
And then the next one was Lawnmower Man.
Oh shit, that's not on my list either. What the fuck is the list? That's a hilarious movie.
Yeah, also, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I've always said it would be kind of cool if somebody went back and redid all the VR scenes.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it though?
The VR scenes
the rest of the movie was cool and
the idea again. It's one of those where the idea is like pretty cool and neat and stuff like that, but it's like it's just so
like Jeff
cheesy.
Fahey gave it his all. And was funny, and the idea of it is cool. Like a remake would actually be pretty cool to do it seriously.
If they try to do a serious one, it's a neat idea, but it's a hilarious. It's another like so stupid, especially because it's so dated.
Yeah,
and those computer effects are
terrible.
I don't even know how to describe them. It's like
YTV.
It's like like when they first created computer effects.
Yeah,
and those bodies that were just like no faces,
geometric and globular,
kind of like the just slightly above the Money for Nothing Dire Straits video, slightly above that.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
But not far from there.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, I loved it at the time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
but it does not hold up. 87 Creepshow 2.
Right.
We touched on this a little.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I feel like I forget
the amount of involvement. There was Chief Woodenhead.
Oh my gosh!
About which was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
The hitchhiker. I liked all the stories in
the Hitchhiker,
which was great. Thanks for the ride.
Thanks for the ride, lady. Yeah.
The raft, which was awesome.
Which one was the?
It was the best one. All the kids go out in that raft in the lake, and then the black sludge comes up in the lake.
That's cool.
That was great.
Yeah.
And then I think there was one more, but I don't remember it.
Not the one with Ted Danson. That was the first one, right?
That was the first one. That was Something to Tide You Over with Leslie Nielsen.
Wink, wink. Oh my God, that's amazing. That's right.
He was the guy who
killed
Leslie
Nielsen.
But yeah, Creepshow 2 is super fun, and it holds up pretty good. Nice. Also in 87, The Running Man.
I just rewatched that.
Did you?
Yeah, because I hadn't seen it for years.
Yeah,
and it's like it's pretty hilarious.
It didn't hold up for me. I don't.
No,
I didn't. I didn't love it at the time either.
It didn't. It was very. At the time, I was a kid,
pretty
so I
much
liked it.
Nothing like the Stephen King story.
No. It's
I wish they'd do a new one because the story's cool.
Right.
Because the story is it takes place like in a city, like you're on the run in the city, and residents that live there can turn you in for money and stuff.
Yeah.
Which would be a cool fucking movie.
It would be neat if they redid it better.
But anyway, Arnold's Yellow Suit movie.
Yeah, I'd forgotten a lot about it until I watched it. And all these memories are coming back, and it's just like it seems now like if somebody now made a parody of 80s action movies, that's what that movie feels like. Like all the one-liners are terrible.
It's kind of funny now that people go back and shit on Last Action Hero when they should be shitting on Running Man.
They should, and it's got like that unfortunate classic like. Just like 80s racism stuff and like rampant misogyny stuff, like really gross. Though I got to say this because it's like, holy fuck, guys, how it's like, Arnold, he's framed, but they're like, he's the butcher of Bakersfield. He murdered all these innocent people. Yeah. Because that's the thing, right? They put convicted bad people on the fucking show.
Right.
And then they're hunted to death. And then the woman, Maria Conchita Alonso, finds out that they framed him.
Yeah.
So they like put her on the show. And we got to kill her. Like they could have just killed her.
Yeah.
And then like good, the information doesn't get out.
Yeah.
So but they're like, we're putting her on the show. We have a new contestant. And when they're rhyming off what she did to be like,
oh no,
it's dude. Yeah. They're like, she cheated on her college SATs, and she's been known to sleep with 2 to 3 men a year.
Oh my God!
And I was like, holy fuck.
And that wasn't a joke? Like
they're like, this is what she did. And everyone's like, boo! Have guys fucking hunt her and kill her now. And it's like, holy shit, did this not age well?
Wow.
And even like just one of the bad guys was Sub-Zero. Yeah. Funny. And because he had skates, he looked like, it's like, did they get the information or the inspiration for Mr. Freeze? Yeah. And it's like, he's an Asian guy. So they're like, his blade could chop people up like sushi. And then it's like, oh my God, guys. Holy shit. This movie is hard to watch. HTW.
Yeah, not good.
But anyway, so that was The Running Man.
By the way, on a side note of like gross and not right, have you ever watched like old clips from the Family Feud with Richard Dawson?
Gross.
It was so gross how much he kissed people.
It's
like
awful.
On the mouth.
Yep.
And like for just milliseconds, way too long.
Way too long.
Yeah.
That's like
it was gross.
Lawsuit.
Like he was really, I have a feeling that Richard Dawson was like, you don't even have to, I don't mind if I don't get a paycheck. I just really love molesting people.
Like it's super gross. So I can one up that with the worst thing. And I wish I didn't even see these clips.
By the way, look up, did I send you the Three's Company clip from Family Feud?
Oh, yes, you did.
It was so good.
It was so great, yeah.
Because John Ritter was great. But when Joyce DeWitt comes out, he like lays one on her that's like, it's easy, so dude. You're not in the backseat of a Chevy.
Yeah. I'm like, I want to say that it's like, I mean, that shit just should have never been acceptable. No. You know what I mean? Back then it was like, oh, this is fine. But it's like, disgusting. It was never good. Even worse though, and I think this is a Canadian show, so our American viewers might not know, but there was a Canadian game show called Just Like Mom.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my God. And it was like a mom and their daughter usually would be competing and stuff like that. Right. And the host of the show, basically Richard Dawson, but with kids. It was fucking horrible. Dude, horrible. It's the worst thing because someone posted a clip like, does anyone remember this like early 80s game show or late 70s maybe? And it was so like
they'd always be like, come on, kitten, put a little...
It was, dude, even worse. It was aggressive and awful, and I wish I could scrub it out of my brain, and I can't believe that was on television.
I'm going to make sure I never look that up.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to ruin everybody's lives by that.
Wow.
But still, Richard Dawson, also fucking gross.
Yeah, really gross.
Yeah.
Okay, so fast forward 2 years to 89, Mary Lambert's Pet Sematary.
Holds up.
Yeah, holds up great. It's great. I still, I loved and was obsessed with the book in high school. And I read it under my desk in class. I was obsessed with it. And I still don't think that movie, the 89 one, does it justice.
Right.
But on its own, as a horror movie, stellar.
Yeah, I loved it. The feel of it, the look of it.
It was great.
It was directed amazing. Fred Gwynne, amazing.
And Dale Midkiff as the dad was great.
He was great.
Never went anywhere.
Yeah,
and he was really so good. Natural and really great in that.
And we said this before, but that scene where he rolls out of bed and smashes his head on the table
I really want to find out.
Because and how did he not
Let's
die?
get Dale Midkiff on the podcast.
Oh my God. If he remembers who he is,
if anybody listening knows Dale Midkiff.
Yes. Maybe that's why he never acted in anything else, because he fucking died from that head wound.
He's in a home or something right now going like,
the cats.
Corn Pops? Corn Pops?
Corn Pops. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Anyway, I love Pet Sematary.
Yeah. Everything about it's awesome. I really enjoyed it.
It does hold up pretty good.
Yeah. That's kind of where I had rounding off part one.
Okay, great. I was going to ask that. Yeah.
Yeah. So just because there's a lot, we've only hit 1989.
I was going to say that actually kind of works out perfectly because then we can go into the next decade of 90s and later.
Yeah. So we'll wrap it up for this week with the Stephen Kings, but tune in next week for part 2 when we go 1990 up, which there's some gems in there.
Oh, yeah.
So what a prolific career, not only in novels, but to have this much material adapted of your work. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's an endless supply still to come.
Oh, for sure.
But anyway, we'll talk to you next week. Tune in again to find out more about what we think of Stephen King adaptations.
Yeah. Exciting.
Yeah.
All right.
You don't have no outro for this?
I have.
Oh, you do? Okay. You weren't saying anything.
It's not a Stephen King.
It doesn't have to be Stephen King. That's fine.
And now, Werner Herzog for The Scrub Daddy.
I used to use a regular sponge to clean my pots and pans. The ineffectiveness of the sponge left me with ennui and the feeling of darkness and intense depression. But since using the scrubbable father figure...
Your intros are 90 minutes long now.
My scrubbable father figure is sunshine and rainbows and flying unicorns. Use the scrubbable father figure or spend eternity in the 7 levels of dirty dish hell.
Let me just throw in, he should act more because when he was the bad guy in Jack Reacher, it was Jack Reacher.
Oh, was he? Okay.
And he was awesome.
Right, yeah, he's great. And
awesome.
The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the baby.
All right, folks, keep rambling. We'll see you next week. Talk to you next week. Won't see you.
No.
All right.
Yes, we will.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to The Real Ramblers. Follow us on Instagram at Real Ramblers. That's REEL Ramblers. And you can follow Lee at Lee Howard _art and Bill at JustTheBill1138.